I swear, if I recorded the torture that is setting up these videos to record for you guys, I have about 40 minutes of extra content. That's all I'll say. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video from PosiTVty. I was thinking about what I should discuss, and I wanted to take an opportunity to actually talk about a bunch of shows at one time, because you know, I want to spread as much positivity as possible, as quickly as possible, even while I only post one video a month. So I decided to give a list of some of the shows that I feel are so good, but people really don't give them as much love as they definitely deserve. So this is my list for the most underrated shows of all time, and I've got a wonderful array of drawings behind me that show you some of the shows that might be coming up. And while you probably can't recognize any of these drawings, I did my best. His is the extremely complicated design, and I really tried, but I butchered it so badly. And, oh, I didn't draw his right ear. Oh, that's unfortunate. But anyway, enjoy this list of some shows that I really enjoyed that I think you should watch too, and I promise you there will be no spoilers for any of these. First up on the list is probably one of my favorite shows of all time, and if you came from our old channel, you definitely know that I talk about this show incessantly, but you might have noticed that I don't make too many videos about the actual show because nobody cares. And that's the problem. And that first show is Veep.
I mean, can I really blame another country for something they didn't do?
It's been the cornerstone of American foreign policy since the Spanish-American War.
Which pertains to this drawing right here, although it might not seem like that when you first look at it. That's supposed to be Julia Louis-Dreyfus, by the way. I think I could have done a better job. Veep is a wonderful, wonderful show that was released on HBO and ended about 4 years ago now, and I'll always remember it as one of the funniest shows that I've ever watched. I mean, talk about one of the best modern comedies of all time. You know, I love Parks and Rec, I love The Office, and The Good Place, but they don't hold a candle to Veep in terms of the jokes per minute ratio. Every single second of that show is filled with background gags, amazingly written jokes, incredible performances, and such tiny little character moments that make you want to rewatch it 1,000 times, which I already have. I am still on like my 20th rewatch discovering new jokes, which is unbelievable, but I've started literally just watching the background to see what's going on. But even besides how funny the show is, it's also incredibly well written and is an amazing satire of the American political system. Both sides, so if you're worried about things getting political, you know, they're gonna, but also they criticize both Republicans and Democrats. If anything, they criticize Democrats more. So don't worry about getting beliefs shoved down your throat or whatever the fuck. I hate that criticism anyway, but you don't have to worry about it with Veep, which is wonderful. There's also some incredible performances from an incredibly talented... I need to broaden my vocabulary here. This is getting really bad. There are some amazing performances from a wonderful cast. Of course, the top one is probably Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Selena Meyer. She is unmatched, and I think that this show actually is her best performance. Even better than Seinfeld. Fight me on that. Some of the moments that you can like see the change of emotions on her face, and there's a range of like 6 in a second. But the rest of the cast is amazing too, specifically Tony Hale as Gary. He is incredible. I mean, he's been in Arrested Development. We saw him in Community. He's a comedic genius. Anna Klumsky as Amy is incredible, as well as Reed Scott as Dan. They are a great pair and they bounce really well off each other. I would also like to point out, I mean, just the entire cast is amazing. Ben Cafferty is an amazing character. Kevin Dunn, who plays him, is so good. Look at me knowing all that. That guy MTB hitting right there.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
But Veep is an incredible show. It's just filled with the best performances, and if you live in America or laugh at America, you'll definitely enjoy this show. It's actually created by a British person, Armando Iannucci. Is he British? I think he's British. It's interesting commentary from the outside, and they got it exactly right, I do have to say. Even if the first season can be a little bit shaky, honestly, I've rewatched it enough times to be like, actually the first season is kind of genius too. My friend Fosley is literally writing a thesis on this show right now. I own a book about it. I mean, I'm all in. It's a wonderful show, and I really wish more people watched it, because let me tell you, nobody is talking about this show, or at least not as much as Parks and Rec or The Office, and I think that this show is as good, if not better, than those. It is incredible, so funny, and an amazing cast. Next up on this list is another HBO show. There's going to be quite a few of these, and that is the show that is associated with this lovely man right here. This man's name is Spear. Not really, he doesn't actually have a name. But anyway, I wanted to talk about Primal. Primal, even if people say Season 2 was not as good as Season 1, I will fight you first of all, because I disagree. It was better than Season 1. Oh, just wait for that video. Spicy opinion. But either way, Primal is an incredible show that I don't really hear people talking about much. It's made by Genndy Tartakovsky, who is the creator of Samurai Jack. If you have watched Samurai Jack, then you know that it is amazing. But Genndy Tartakovsky, why can't I say his fucking name? Genndy Tartakovsky is a really amazing storyteller, so I was really excited to dive into another one of his cartoons, and was even more thrilled to find out that there was no dialogue in the show. I mean, it's about a caveman and a dinosaur, so what exactly are they going to talk about? But even when we actually meet up with other people, there's never any actual dialogue that you can understand. And there's also magic going around, so it's not real life. But it's an incredible story. I love watching every episode because the best world building I've ever seen. It has such a lush and vibrant world with a bunch of different animals and such detailed hunting scenes and food chains. It's so fascinating to watch, and it has a lot to say about the primal urge, or the animalistic urge inside all humans. And I think that even though Season 2 started diving away from our lovely man here, some of the one-off episodes were actually fantastic to watch, and I won't spoil too much about that. Primal is an incredible show, and I recommend that you get into it, especially for just, you know, the amazing animation. I mean, like, it's somehow the writing is good, but there's like no dialogue, so there's like hardly any writing. I'm pretty sure he probably storyboards the episodes rather than writing scripts, because the scripts would just be like books. They would just be all action description. But it's an incredible way to experience a story. Honestly, it's tense, of course, but it's really relaxing a lot of times too, because it shows the beauty of nature as well. So I would take a look at that one. So I'm gonna go to a show that is on Amazon Prime. We don't have a lovely drawing to support it up here, but that show is Undone.
Well, what is the point? Because we're broken people. Okay? And broken people break people. No, I'm not broken. Okay. You're so insanely self-involved, you don't even know all the things that are wrong with you. No, I do. Trust me.
So my favorite show in the world is BoJack Horseman, and when I found out that the creator was doing another show, I almost shit my pants. But I was so excited, and when I looked at the previews of it, it looked really surreal and confusing, so I was eager to get into it and find out what it's about. For those of you who have never even heard of this show before, probably a lot of you, Undone is a rotoscoped animated show, so it is technically 2D animation. The backgrounds are done as paintings, though, and the human characters are animated but drawn over real-life footage of the actors, so it is actually a really interesting art style, and while I feel like sometimes it might not work and look a little weird, for the most part it is beautiful. Especially in Season 2, they really got into the style and honed it, and they really ended up producing some of the best shots that I've ever seen. I mean, I just really love anytime they do a wide shot in that show. It's just a painting. That's it. It is also incredible the amount of work that goes into that show, but even besides that, the reason the rotoscoped animation works so well is because some of the performances, like from Rosa Salazar, Salazar are so good, and the intricacies of their facial expressions are very important to see, so it's good in the rotoscope animation that they actually display all of that, and you could see the full range of all of the wonderful actors. And besides that, the show is so confusing, but I love the concept. I mean, it is so out there, but also a really, really interesting way to depict a struggle with mental health. I would highly recommend it. If you liked BoJack Horseman, you'll probably like the show. You can definitely tell that Raphael Bob Waksberg, the creator of both of those shows, is behind it, and the humor is similar. He even makes a fun cameo. But I would definitely recommend it. It's a really fun show to watch. It's very mystical, magical, whimsical, if you enjoy that kind of thing. And I would say stick with it, even if you're like, what the fuck is going on, for a couple episodes. Next up is another HBO show that I was gonna do last, but is now here, and it is called Hacks.
I think you better leave.
Yeah.
Can I show you to the door? Or would you like to go back up the chimney?
Oh, no, I know my way out. By the way, so cool they let you move into a cheesecake factory.
Oh, is that where you wait tables? That seems like a better fit.
Oh, yeah, I agree, you classist monster.
Hacks is a wonderful live-action comedy show that came out a couple of not too long ago, and I have been enjoying pretty much every episode of the show, mostly because of the talents of the two leads, which are Jean Smart, who you probably know already because she is one of the most famous and recognizable actresses in the world, and then also a newcomer, Hannah Einbinder. But she's incredibly funny, and the two bounce off each other so well. It's just an interesting show to watch about the central relationship, which is these two female comedians. It's a very relatively grounded show in reality. Obviously, it gets pretty out there sometimes because it's a comedy, but it has a lot of great commentary about Hollywood, being a public figure, crossing a line, what is comedy, pandering to audiences. It's got lots of good stuff in there. If you're a performer, you'll probably love it because there's a lot of interesting acting performances. What am I saying? Like, without a script, a lot of these times these videos just go off the rails. There's a lot of interesting performances and relationships on the show that I think you would just follow for the characters, honestly. Even though it's a wonderful comedy with some really funny moments, it's also a great drama too, and a lot of the characters are really relatable, even if they are in the 1%. The next show on this list is one that was unjustly canceled by Netflix, and that is Glow.
It shouldn't be that way. No, it shouldn't. And women should get to direct and not be washed up by the time they're 30. But that is the way it is. And you don't make it better by flouncing out like some fucking Victorian schoolmarm every time some sleazeball puts his hand on your knee. You're taking 20 other people down with you.
So you just let them do whatever they want?
Glow was an amazing show. My friend Fosley showed it to me, and from like the first episode, I was completely hooked. It has some amazing drama and characters, but it's also like really, really funny, even though like I'd say it's more drama than comedy for sure, but it definitely gets out there. It's a show about female wrestlers in the 80s. It's very stylized. I love the period piece. And of course it stars Alison Brie, who is an incredible actress, as well as Betty Gilpin, who is unreal in this show. I loved watching every scene of hers. I mean, she is just incomparable. But everyone, honestly, in that show does a really good performance. It's really centered around women, and it was such a fantastic show. Mark Maron is in it as well. I thought he gave a wonderful performance. The show had a lot to offer. Unfortunately, because it was on Netflix, it lasted for 3 seasons, and they canceled it because no show can go past 3 or 4 seasons because apparently that's a federal crime in Netflix's opinion. So, jaw-dropping moments, some cool wrestling choreography as well, but mostly great performances and interesting relationships that I just wanted to watch unfold. So I would definitely recommend that one as well, and I wished I would see more people talking about it. Next on this list is Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Well, Andrea wants me to pretend to talk to my mom, so it's either this or that water stain that looks like a face.
Kimmy, that does not look like... Oh my God, what do you want? I'll do whatever you say.
Titus, my therapy homework is hard enough. I don't have time for you to freak out at the wall. Who sent you? You're not welcome here!
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt is a show that was once again on Netflix and canceled after 4 seasons. Well, it got an ending, but you know, they ended it after 4 seasons. It's by Tina Fey, creator of 30 Rock. A lot of people felt that it was often too silly and goofy and irreverent, perhaps. and they found that the humor was too silly for them. But fortunately, I have the brain of a 6-year-old, so I found this to be one of the funniest shows I've ever fucking watched. I mean, the humor is just so out there, but also has great commentary on like real social issues, which I really appreciate. But even the characters in that show are really great. I mean, you can have an amazing performance without it being super dramatic. There's like hardly any drama in that show. When they do it, it's done very well, but also the dialogue is always super ridiculous. And Ellie Kemper is so good as Kimmy Schmidt. It's like one of the most convincing performances I've ever seen. She was born to play that role, and I loved watching Kimmy Schmidt traverse the very dark world of New York City with her colorful purple backpack. Titus is an incredible character. I mean, it's just, you have to watch the show because you will fall in love with every single main character in there, even the ones who seem annoying at first. So definitely stick with it. I ended up loving it, and I'm so sad that it ended early. Fuck you, Netflix. What a fumble, that platform, honestly. I will probably make a video just about how there are so many shows that should have gone super far and were just taken away from us too soon. I mean, RIP. Next up on this list is another Netflix show, which is American Vandal.
These are the dicks that you drew in Shapiro's class.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
And then this is the dicks that were drawn in the car.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shit.
They're
These are
completely
totally
different. Yeah. And we checked every single whiteboard dick that you drew in Shapiro's class. All had hairs.
American Vandal is a mockumentary series, but it's not quite like The Office or Parks and Rec. It actually tries very hard to look like a real documentary. Unfortunately, it's about the most ridiculous situations you've ever seen. The first season is centered around a school incident where a bunch of penises are spray painted on teachers' cars in the parking lot, and one student is unjustly expelled after claiming he didn't do it, but everyone thinks that he did because he loves drawing penises on everything. It's amazing, and there's some great drama in there, and it's some real true crime stuff, but the evidence is all about spray painted penises. And how it's brutal. I would watch it. It is so funny. It is one of the most clever shows I've ever seen. And season 2 amped it up even better. And then, oh, guess what happened? Netflix canceled it. So they didn't get to do another season, even though they were doing the anthology thing really well. I mean, the second season hits so hard. Definitely watch American Vandal. The performances are so convincing. They use a bunch of Disney stars in this extremely dirty story. I think it's really smart. Now moving on to the more animated part of this list, even though Primal was second, we are going to talk about Legend of Korra, but not for long, because listen, I love Legend of Korra. I think I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours, but all I'm gonna say here is that some people on YouTube will tell you not to even watch the show. So all I'm gonna say is, if you are considering doing that, watch it. Please just watch it and make your own opinion. That's all I'm gonna say. I've talked about the show way too much, so I don't want to, over ice it, like icing on a cake, Wow, I mean, like, you should really write a transcript of this episode and just see that it is almost just stream of consciousness at this point. But seriously, Korra is an incredible show with some amazing heartfelt stories in it. I mean, it would be a shame to miss out on it just because of, like, preconceived notions that you got off the internet. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's move on to the next one. The very last show on this list is actually going to be an anime. I usually don't have like anime recommendations that like nobody's heard of, I only have like the popular ones. Like one of my favorites is Attack on Titan. Like, oh, you're a basic bitch. Okay, I get it. But one anime that my friend showed me that I actually ended up super enjoying and I found out was not rated very well was Akudama Drive. Akudama Drive is a very, very sci-fi anime with some incredible combat scenes, but also some amazing characters with really, I mean, the arcs are basically, they're curved, bro. They end up in a different place from where they started for sure. everyone becomes like a completely different character by the end of the show. And it's so interesting to watch. And I found myself actually my heart breaking for a lot of the characters, even though it's initially very upbeat and silly. Also, it's just beautiful. I mean, there's so many like pretty lights and stuff. But I found out that a lot of people didn't really like the show and found it to be basic, but I think that they're kind of not acknowledging that the writers of this definitely know about the tropes that they're putting in there. In fact, it's kind of just a combination of a bunch of different tropes, and that's like the whole thing of it. I feel like people saying that it is very cliche and tropey and they knew everything that was going to happen. First of all, how? I disagree. Second of all, I think the tropes are intentional, and I think that the characters often play into them, but then often play out of the tropes or surprise the audience in ways that you wouldn't expect. I would definitely challenge. The rating is a 7.3 on IMDb, and all I'm gonna say is I don't buy it. It is so much better than that, and I honestly think that this show deserves like at least like an 8.4. I mean, it was so solid. It was so short too. Like I can't think of one episode that was a miss because there wasn't any time wasted. So quick. I love the pace. But if you really like glitzy, glazzy, like very bright, shiny shows with a lot of energy, fast pace, gore, you're probably gonna love this one. This one was a really fun watch, and I would recommend it to a lot of anime fans, even though IMDb users, I don't know why I said that so weird, might not. But anyway, that is my list of the most underrated shows I've ever seen. Let me know if you think I left off any that you think deserve to be on here. I feel like I captured a lot of them, but obviously there's some shows in my blind spot. I can't watch every TV show that's ever been made, partly because some of them were made on the CW, so it's just, I'm not gonna go there. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next, and if you want to support us further, go to patreon.com/TV_wins. There you can get all of the videos before they come out on YouTube, at least a week before they come out on YouTube. You get to request exactly what we want and participate in Patreon polls for new content, and you get full-time reactions when we actually start reacting to stuff. The Last of Us reactions, I promise it's coming. I know I've said in like the past like 3 videos that it's coming, but it's on its way. I swear, it's almost here. So you're gonna want them early because it'll be like a month before it comes up on YouTube. But we would really appreciate any support you can give us, as little as $1. Even that goes a long way to help us maybe do this more frequently if you want to see videos more often. Less than. Imagine if I posted videos less than I already do. Seems like I finally figured out a good angle for this video, but let me know what you think. And I hope you enjoyed. I've already said that 6 times, but bye!